Hey guys, this is the XRP Cowboy. Hi. Hey, this is Billy. I've got the Gary Gensler song. Sorry it's a little vulgar, but it's rated R for fucking pirate. I don't know why anyone would let their kids watch my channel anyways.
A beautiful girl, full of life. I wanna feel her insides. I grab my knife, cut her skin. I wanna let myself in. I see the blood go down her leg. She tells me no, I can't stay. I wanna know what's going on. I wanna know right now. No, it don't mean nothing when you're chained to my bed. No, it don't mean nothing when you're chained in my bed.
My Dreamers. That is not a bad song. We just flipped it to be a bad song because of Gary Gensler. That's why we did that. But to be honest, that song was written about situations in love, when you're having love or about to have love with whether it's a man or a woman, and they're like, oh, I can't do this, but then they keep doing and they want to do it, and then they do it because they want to do it. It's not like some weird, like, you know, I don't want to use the word solicited, but it's not like forcing yourself or anything. That stuff's horrible. I got daughters, guys. This is Billy Hay. That's not what it's about, but it's about the way, you know, these situations we get into. I used to be in a band, the fucking greatest band ever. We played a show. We played a show, at this little bar that's smaller than my garage. That's how fucking good it was. But seriously though, My Dreamers. It's about Gary Gensler. I keep that song tucked away because, that was written like 20 something years ago, and it was like sex rock, right? I had hair down to here. I could grab it on my ass. I used to throw it around, fucking wash hair, thinking I was cool. But My Dreamers, we've come a long way, but we'll come back to that song, the Gary Gensler song, in a minute. But I do want to show you just a few things there. We're going to have something for everybody. We're going to have the crazy, the belligerents, the charting, and something for the newbies. So I got to get moving because I don't want this video to be too fucking long. But you guys, and just for croon or crone or whatever the fuck, the cowboy's going to say, motherfucker, you don't like my singing? Don't listen to it. Last time I checked, there's a little fast forward thing you can go past. It's very clear where I stop, okay? Fucking Billy's got a heart. It hurts his heart, okay? And you know what? Cowboys love to fucking sing. They'd rather sing you a song than give you diamonds or gold. You might not want that song, but you got to pay the toll, motherfucker. My Dreamers. Hope you're sleeping. I've been up for a few hours. I got up at 11:30 tonight, and my day started at 11:30 p.m. And I wasn't going to do a video, but what the fuck? I can't drink too much tonight, but Cowboy's still fucking rearing his head. I got to take the kids to school in the morning. Here we go. I'm going to flip the screen. This is how I share my screen, the old dude way. All right, watch this, guys. This is DIY investing. And this is my problem. I am a technical analyst, but I do factor in fundamentals. And ultimately, that's where things have been going astray with all the YouTubers right now. They're looking at the past, from what happened historically. But you got to remember something, guys. You got to remember something. Things were different. When we look at 17, 18, when the market rocketed up, and the cycles before that, that was all retail for the most part. And that, in the stock market, retail's like not even, maybe 11, 10%, 7%, somewhere in that range, depending on the year of the money. So it's always the fucking whales that don't want us to swim controlling the market, okay? And in 17, 18, that wasn't the case. Just like the dot-com era, when things took off and you had all these fucking bankers, just like Jamie fucking Dimon with his fucking, bringing down Bitcoin while they were buying it. Same thing happens in every bubble. When the retail gets in first, they say, fuck you, we're going to bring it down, then they're going to buy back. This is why I don't, and it's going to soar forever. I believe 17 and 18 was that pivotal point in our space when hedge funds, institutions, the money, the whales recognized what we had, so they brought it down, or it wouldn't have dropped like it did. And we're going to talk about that here. I would argue 90% now it's a whale market. You know, it's probably not 90%, but it's probably like 70%. You know, controlled by whales now, and that's maybe an understatement. But let's see what, and this is where charting goes awry, because ultimately we're always looking at the past to see the future in structures that are human emotions that are in the stock market controlled by the whales. But we didn't have that in 1718. This is the biggest reason why we can't look back to the last 4-year bear market and use that as a reference to the future. I would argue the last 12 months is what we're going to see the next 12 months, only going upward. And here's a great example of that.
Target for taking profits, really maximize the length of this cycle from beginning to end. Now, you guys already know I've been calling for the cycle top to take place sometime at the end of the year, 2021 to the beginning of 2022, and we're right at that same exact point. So I figured today would be a good opportunity to actually dive into the time frames of what we saw.
We're going to analyze the analyst here.
Similar, not just what we're seeing with Ethereum, but we're actually seeing a number of other altcoins that have kind of led this cycle, doing this exact same thing as what we saw in 2017. Now, this is kind of the pattern that I've been updating you guys with for a little while, analyzing this same consolidation that we saw in 2017, where ETH made this big run up, and then once we actually went into price discovery, went to new all-time highs, we had our first correction, and this was the consolidation that we went through inside of that correction. It was about 180 days that we went sideways here, until finally,
all this looks beautiful so far, my
November,
dreamers.
the beginning of December, we actually broke out of the previous all-time highs.
This is where the backers, I think, got it wrong.
And then that's where we went
Same
to
thing.
our final rally of that cycle. And I've been sharing with you guys how similar
Watch my cursor here. I'm doing circles.
Really are to each other. And it's amazing that we see such similarities, not only just repeated across cryptos, but the same cryptos repeating the same patterns. That's what I think is very interesting with this chart. When we look at this, it's roughly the same sort of setup. We get almost the same exact chart setup. The top one up here was more of an ascending triangle like this. Whereas the current one that we're in today is less of an ascending triangle and more of the cup and handle, but it still follows the same rules.
It's moving faster because of retail. Not retail, hedge funds.
We eventually find our support, and then after we find support, we immediately rally.
Immediately, that's a whale move.
This happened.
Push you out, buy it back.
Exactly the same in 2017.
Notice how we go above though here, right here. Look at my cursor.
The only real difference.
That's a whale move.
Is the pullback that took place.
They're controlling the market.
A lot deeper. This one is about almost 50%.
That's because it was retail.
Pulling back after we retested those previous highs,
and
whereas
investment firms aren't going to let it drop like that.
You're looking at like 34%, so it's not quite as volatile.
Explain that to your
client.
client.
Notice something here.
He has to correct
Ethereum
quick.
Actually found that bottom right here. We rallied back up. We got.
Or you're going to be on the phone all day explaining to your clients what's happening.
Consolidation, right? We just mainly.
And you're never going to say it's going to be 4 years to recover. I promise you fucking that.
Before we broke out. Whereas what we've seen thus far with Ethereum,
notice how here and here,
but it's still following that same, symmetry. This one kind of immediately just bounced up and broke into new all-time highs.
This one fucking ran while the whales accumulated.
But the time frames are still very much the same.
We ran above here, right here. Look at my cursor.
If we analyze from the breakout and the retest of the previous all-time highs, you're looking at about
now we're here
until where we're at today.
Here,
getting close about mid-December. That's what we've been in time frame wise inside of this.
But this is where it's important. What's happening now?
We pretty much
where he's 100% wrong. Let's say 99%.
24th of November. And so we ended up leaving that consolidation at about the 12th of
Not
December.
yet.
And so we're following right there on path. In fact, we have about
Billy's getting tired. He might have to go to bed in a minute. Let the cowboy fucking run this shit.
In time in 2017 where ETH broke out again. And so I think it's very, very interesting that we're at this point. And the big thing that we need to understand here is this is the move that is coming. This type of an impulse into price discovery.
100%.
And what I wanted to share with you guys real quickly, comparing the two cycles, is let's actually take a look at the Fibonacci so that we can get an idea of.
And he's going to say
Ethereum was to
15K is the top.
The 2017
But
cycle,
we didn't have,
identically,
we're
what is the
basing
price
this off
target
of what
that we're
happened
gonna be
before with
expecting to see in
retail.
this cycle for
We've
ETH?
got
So
90%
first things
more
first,
money
we
in
need to
this shit.
analyze, the Elliott waves and then combine the Elliott waves with Fibonacci. So with the Elliott waves, once we actually found our short-term support,
So I think
down here at the
20,000
low,
is a low
we
estimate.
made 3 impulse waves all the way back up to the previous all-time high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's not his fault,
And
though.
then we ended up following.
And he's
up
gonna make
with
he's
an
made a lot of
ABC
money
correction back
with
down,
this shit.
right? And so this
But-
was our wave 1. This was wave 1 of 1, and then we followed up by making our 3 wave. This was wave 1 of 3. This was wave 3 of 3, and then this was wave 5 of 3, right? And then once again, we get another short-term ABC correction. Really quick one.
And just so you know, no chartist could justify. Look at my cursor here. This move here. They could justify this one, even this one, but not that one. So,
impulse,
fuck that.
which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like that, right? So this is
The
our
waves
5
make
impulse
sense,
waves.
but
This
just
is
not
wave
the
1 of
depth.
3, or this is wave 1 of 5, this is wave 3 of 5, and then this was wave 5 of 5, and that completed our cycle. Now let's actually compare the Fibonacci so that you guys have a better understanding. So we're just going to basically measure the 1 wave. We're going to go from the top all the way back down to the bottom of the sell-off. And we can see here that wave
All
3 had to go to
Fibonacci
at least the
is
1618. And in fact, wave 3 ended up
expansion
peaking just under
over
the
time
2618. So we
that
rallied all the
multiplies
way up here pretty much to the
from
2618
its previous
inside of this wave
high.
3. This is something I've been updating you guys with the Bitcoin chart as well as Ethereum.
Many
I've
people
been
read it
talking
wrong.
about how this most recent impulse that we got, in fact, if we pull up the chart here, I'll draw it. This impulse right here, I've been drawing this similarly, and I've been targeting this 2618.
Not implying
which is
he
gonna be
does. I
taking
haven't
us all the way
studied
up
his
here to
yet.
about $8,800 per Ethereum. And the reason why I've been targeting this is because inside of a wave 3, oftentimes it's going to be about double.
Oh my
the
fucking
size of
God,
wave
this
1.
is
And that's
taking
why
an attorney. I'm
inside
gonna
of
stop this in a
2017,
minute.
ETH went all the way up to this 2618 before finishing that wave 3. It's because oftentimes wave 3 is about double the size of wave 1. So it's not always going to be exact. I mean, this one
Young kid, though.
technically
He's got the
didn't
world
even
by
hit
the ass.
2618 was just right before it. But this is just a rule of thumb. And what that actually shows now is that we'd be seeing an impulse something like this. You know, we'd get a sharp pullback, and then that's what would take us to our final impulse of that cycle. And so it's really interesting to me how we're at this point, and the prices look the same, the consolidation looks the same, even the time frames are the same.
But there's something
and so the only
different.
thing that we're missing is this final
Institutions,
impulse into price discovery.
motherfucker.
We've already broken new all-time highs. We're retesting the previous all-time highs as support. This next move is going to be pretty much the same one as this right here. And so where Ethereum ended up topping in 2017, just basically
We would have got to
analyzing this
60K
one way,
Bitcoin if
we
it
ended up
wasn't
coming
for the
all
FUD
way
from
up here
China and
hitting the
Jamie Dimon
4618,
with just
and then that's where we
retail
ended up getting our
investors.
cycle top. And so if we follow the same thing in this current
With
cycle
Bitcoin.
for ETH, we're looking at a cycle top that's going to be taking place at about $13,500. So once again, you guys already know my targets have been 15 to 20,000, with 20,000 being kind of my focal point. And this is just showing that we have a potential that if we follow what 2017 did, we would top a little bit short of that target, but it's not going to be a whole lot. And I don't think you're going to be going wrong by any means selling, you know, anywhere over 10,000 for Ethereum. If you're taking profits at that point, I think that that's a really great time to be selling.
Yeah, you can
don't have
take
to hold all the way
profits
to
there,
20K.
but
You don't even have to hold all the way to 15K, because the amount that you're actually going to be gaining by, you know, selling at 10K rather than the risk of
least take
holding
your
even
investment out.
longer with all of that profit, it's not worth it in my
take it out
opinion,
at
especially if
6K.
you've been
Really, your
holding since all the
investment.
way
Leave the
down in
rest.
here.
Let it run to
The
20K
big
at
point of
least.
trying to make these videos, specifically covering Ethereum, is to map out why I believe we're about to see.
Notice
a huge
he's not
alt
talking
season.
about
When
supply
Ethereum
and
takes
institution
off, always
supply.
makes a lot of money coming to
That
altcoins,
they're
and this
taking
is
off the
exactly what
market
we're seeing.
because we
Ethereum's
didn't
about to
have
set
it
up for a
back
massive type
in
of move.
17,
And it
18.
looks just the same as 2017.
But there's so much
And
supply
this is
being
the move
taken
that we
off
saw
the
in
market right
2017.
now.
If we
It makes it a
replicate
lot
this
easier for this
exact
shit to
same
run
scenario
way,
once
way
again,
past
we're gonna be
anybody's
looking at
estimates.
least $13,500.
But I don't have
for
a fucking
Ethereum.
crystal
And I'm
ball.
still sticking to my 15 to 20K target. You know, I'm going to be watching for that regardless. I think that this cycle has more opportunity for a bigger blow off top, just considering the overall sentiment of
All right,
market
all right.
with DeFi, with NFTs, all of
Just
this
wanna-
stuff being built on
you can
Ethereum.
watch this if you
I think
want,
that there's a lot
but
of greed
I'm
that can
fucking-
come into the market through.
Billy's tired. He wants to go to bed, but Cowboys getting ramped up. He's going to say after it hits this 15, 20K, it's going to correct like 80% all the way back down like this structure here. If you watch, I'm going to do my finger, this. And yes, it could correct after it hits that level. But here's what he's not saying. It's probably going to do one of these, and then this is going to be the rebound, opposed to this right here. And then we're going to see this, and then this is going to happen like this, but it's going to be, the highest probability is it's going to be something like this, and then it's going to go like retrace like this. But we're not going to see this shit storm here. We're going to see it recovering again. And it's not going to be 4 months. It's going to happen within a quarter. So we're going to see a correction maybe at 15, 20,000. Maybe at 10,000. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. But we're going to see it come down and correct and then start going up again. And it's simple because there's going to be less Ethereum on the market. And there's virtually none. They're buying this shit so fast. So that's it. I want to show you share my screen again. This is my XRP cowboy fucking page. This is this was the other day when it crashed to 38.6. I said it was going to be crash below 40 to 49. It's been holding forward. It was holding 49 for a few days, and it would go all the way down to 39. It didn't go to 39. It went a few hundred more, which is fractionally off. And this was my post on the 26th. Just trying to give you guys some shit so you don't think I'm totally fucking drunk off my ass all the time. And we called that. I missed a few $100s here. But you can see the date, November 6th right here. But that's not why we're on this fucking page. We're on to show you something else. I share shit that's important, my dreamers, and we'll get into some stuff in a minute, some storytelling, all that. Oh, this is great. I share this. To me, it's like crazy land. Just saying, XRP has been chained to Gary Gensler's fucking bed. And it was, and he's doing unspeakable things. My comment was to Jungle Inc.'s post. XRP hasn't even reached all-time highs. At all-time highs, XRP will be approximately the current market cap of Sol, ADA, DOT, Luna. Now, Sol's great. ADA, potential. They all have potential, and they're all great projects. But I'm going to tell you this right fucking now. They're not XRP. They're all secondary. They're all fucking secondary. So just to give you an idea how fucking Gary Gensler's chained this bitch down it's remarkable, really. It's we think, me and some of my friends, we're talking about how we're still up so much, but when you look at it like that, it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? We were getting our asses kicked because we're losing money. It should already be at all-time highs. It should already be at $10, $12 based on the current market conditions. Even right now, it still should be at $8 or $9.
So
listen to this.
it'd be one thing if they said, "Come on in and let's talk about the
This
rules,"
is Greg
but
Kidd.
They're saying, "Come on in," and they're not clarifying.
Owns 1% of
So
circulating supply of
basically
XRP.
telling you to kind of like unzip
Investor in
yourself, and then
Uphold.
they'll figure out like how much they want to take out of what you got. And so it hasn't really been a two-way street. It's without rules, without clarity. It's basically still a shakedown environment. It's regulation by enforcement rather than regulation by
He worked at
rules
the
or
SEC.
principles.
Well, he also talks. He gets into
At least
explicit
everybody
things.
just running scared.
I thought this was a video.
The SEC saying, "Come on in and have a chat." I've had some of those chats.
Here you go.
Usually, I leave there with a bit less clothing than I went in with, and sore in some unmentionable spots. And so,
Sore in some unmentionable
one thing if they
spots.
said,
So
"Come on in
you
and
guys
let's
want to
talk about
fuck
the
with the
rules,"
cowboy?
but they're saying, "Come on in."
You'll
and they're
see.
not
I'm not the
clarifying
only
rules.
one in this
So
camp,
they're
okay?
basically telling you to kind of like unzip yourself, and then they'll figure out like how.
It's my wife. She's kind of hot, huh? My dreamers. All right, let's get into some other stuff. I just wanted to share my screen. What's up, my dreamers? I had a bad fucking day today. It's 22 degrees. I think it's 34 3 degrees in my garage, and I wanted to torture myself a little. We're going to talk about paybacks and how they're a bitch. Everybody's got a number, and sometimes that number, it's got to come up, and we got to make sure they pay for what they've done. They have to pay for their sins. It's our job to pay that debt back.
Unsettling sighs, masochistic thighs. You look so pretty to me. The time is now than what was last night. I fear your love's a fight. You tried it once, you'll do it again. Your movies never end. Bleach blonde hair on your recorded tape. Every boy's your friend when your lines in the movie are, oh, I'll never change. Now go, 'cause you'll never change. My life, my life. I watch all your scenes, examine your screams. Does he feel better than me?
My dreamers, drinking a little whale's blood. You're perfect to me. So where are we going to go with this? Want to talk about the portal, the XRP portal for the newbies? Let's talk about the SEC. My dreamers. The SEC. The fucking SEC. Here's the thing. I know Jeremy Hogan said a few months, or Deaton said a few months settlement, and so did Jeremy Hogan, and that puts us in the time frame I have, end of January, with the rocket ship. And you know, I always say I'm a little early, but that's why us chartists don't want to know the name of the fucking company, because we factor in things we shouldn't, which would put us February. But here's the thing. They're not thinking about charts or anything, so they're saying February. Charts say January. Whatever. Don't kill the fucking messenger. The cowboy's gonna say don't kill the fucking don't kill the messenger. It's soon. Our time is soon. You really have to stop talking like you're from True Blood, dude. Suki, I don't want you for your fucking blood, the cowboy's gonna say to Billy. This is what we're here for. It's a story, it's a game, it's a release, it's to let go of our fucking stress. But here's the thing. The cowboy's gonna say the SEC needs this to end soon. Political pressure. Fox has been activated, so you got a lot of whales there that are pushing a narrative. Yes, they are slightly a minority from the media, the banks, and all that stuff, the investment firms, but this is just one phase. Phase one is Fox. They're all coming though, and the thing is we've got Congress, awareness, all this shit happening. Brian Brooks, you're a fucking legend. You're a god, and you're God sent to this space, and that's why he ran like hell from fucking Binance US, because he knew what was going on there with the manipulation, stealing our fucking bags. I don't care what anyone says. You know the greatest thing about a conspiracy theory is in 10 cap? If it works out in the end, which it will, you can't disprove that we're right or wrong. You can't disprove that we're wrong, because we're just going to say, yeah, that's what they told you, but this is what happened. So whatever, right? Doesn't matter. What matters is fucking by the time we chip that ball in on the green, we have par. But here's the thing. This is the truth. The longer this case goes on, yes, maybe they're trying to stifle innovation and all this stuff. I don't think that's the case. I think there's some protectionism to the banks and all this stuff. And I'm not talking about the fucking banks that want to see this fucking win. So because they need this too. The thing, it's just sorting. It's time. They're figuring this all out. There's a lot of areas they're losing money in, and they have to make sure that they're going to, at the end of the day, the money they're saving is going to be worth the money they're losing from the fucking current manipulation, okay? And just like cross-border payments, you don't think that's manipulated with exchange rates? Why do you think it takes you so long to get your money sometimes if it's a large enough amount? If it's small, if it's a couple $100, you're going to get it. But when it's big dollars, they make a lot off of a percentage point. They have to make sure that shit is the checks and balances are in line, so they still are fucking financially ahead, or they have to structure it so they can win there. And it's not a little win; it's significant. This is an overall change. It's taking the financial system and flipping it on its back. You guys, my dreamers, you know this. It's not about the tech. It wins every time. Point is the longer this goes on, the more the SEC is at risk of Congress controlling the outcome of of the lawsuit. And they don't want that. So ultimately, everyone's in a hurry here. Everyone's working to get this done. So it's happening soon. This will not go the distance. So we got that going on. There will be a debt that is paid. And I'm a guy, Billy's going to say, like, bygones be bygones. If someone apologizes, that's good enough. But the cowboy is going to say he's a fucking sheep. He listens to the news. He believes in it, everything they say, and he goes with it. And he doesn't have any cognitive, thinking. He doesn't use his fucking brain that he was blessed with. And, it's the cowboy's going to tell you that when somebody fucks you over, it's a debt that you have to pay back. And if you don't, you're not doing your job under God's eye. You're not doing what you're supposed to be. You're a fucking coward. You're a sheep. You're a bitch. I'll tell you a story. We'll call this Payne. Billy grew up with a guy named Mark Payne. And every now and then the cowboy had to fucking come out. Mark Payne was his last name. He was a couple years older, a few inches taller, and he was a fucking bigger dude, big bone, fat ass, not fucking body shaming, just calling it how I see it, right? And he had a lot of leverage on Billy. Well, one day they were fucking wrestling, and Mark ended up on top of Billy, and Billy's little, body compared to his, it was struggling. And there was a pile of fucking dog shit. And Mark grabbed Billy's hand, and he forced it. And he could not put Billy's hand in the dog shit, even though he wanted to. But then he shifted his fat fucking ass, and his hand went into the dog shit. It went between his fingers, and he had shit everywhere. And he thought it was fucking funny. Well, the cowboy knew this was a debt that needed to be paid, and the sooner the fucking better. So as Mark was laughing, the cowboy just smacked Mark in the fucking face and ran like hell, because there's no way Mark could keep up with the cowboy, right? No fucking way. The cowboy's awesome. He was the fastest guy in the neighborhood. Best athlete. That's a fact, okay? And then there was another story. Like I said, this is story time, guys. You want to hear it, cool. If you don't, my dreamers, I understand. But I do have something for the newbies. There isn't too much left for the people probably who've been following me for this long. It's just going downhill from here. She goes down, 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 down. I wonder what that means. It means we had a couple cocktails at a martini bar. So we were trading frogs. I was trading. Mark always had this immaculate. See, back in my generation, we didn't have these fucking games. Like, we'll hear Minus Wells talk about all these great video games. And we had, like, Pong, black and white screen TV. You'd put a gel on it, and it was, like, green or... Minus Wells, sorry. A gel on it to give it color, and it was just a paddle and a little dot, and you bounced it back and forth. It wasn't fun, Like these kids now, the dopamine's going fucking crazy. Well, so we actually did this thing called played outside. We played with fucking sticks and rocks, and we'd catch frogs in the woods, and I caught a bunch of tadpoles, like hundreds of them. I was just scooting them out of the water, and they were little, hundreds of them. I put them in a box in my backyard, and with some water, a bowl of water, and turned into frogs. And Mark always, his parents at Christmas, they'd ask what kind of boombox I would get, my parents were getting me, and they'd say, we're going to get the same one. They'd buy a bigger one. It was like fucking bitches, right? Fucking bitch-ass parents. But they were good people to me, so I can't say that, like, with what's the word? Who fucking cares? They were good to me, okay? But here's the thing, my dreamers. He really wanted a frog. So, and I really wanted those cars. Not because I wanted those Matchbox cars. I did. But it was more because he protected those motherfuckers. You know? I remember I'd go to his house, and he wouldn't let me play with certain ones. So when he wanted those frogs, I gave him 3 frogs. 3 little fucking frogs. I had hundreds of them, right? Maybe 100. And he wanted them. So I made sure every fucking car this motherfucker wouldn't let me play with, I got in this trade. And ultimately I ended up with his whole collection. And not even 2 minutes after we traded, he like bumped something. The frogs dropped out of his hand. He only caught one of them. The other 2 got away. And he thought I was going to give him another fucking 2 frogs for his loss. But a deal's a fucking deal. Once we exchanged, once the contracts were filled out, we didn't have Ethereum then. It was a done deal. So ultimately, he lost a couple frogs. Well, this motherfucker, being an older kid and a bigger kid than me and a bully, decided to go to my box and take a couple more frogs. So I said, that's cool. No problem, man. I couldn't do anything. I was a little shit. But you better believe the cowboy was thinking in the background. You better fucking believe it. Well, you know what? That was cool. Everything worked out. Day was over, and next day, one of the frogs died or something. But I put the frogs, we had this little shed in the back. We had like an acre of property. We lived just on the outskirts of one of the suburbs right next to Detroit. My dad worked at Stroh's Brewery. He was the littlest guy, but the baddest motherfucker you've ever met. He would have died to protect his family, just like Billy and the cowboy. Well, I put him in this shed, and because it was shaded, and I knew immediately what to do when Mark came over. I said, "Oh, dude, don't worry about it. Go get a couple more from the fucking shed." And because I put him in there, I had the keys. Well, Mark went into that fucking shed, and he was looking in the box, and I fucking shut the door on him, and I locked it. I mean, this shed was probably like 6 by 6 or something. It was early in the day. Around dinner time, Mark's dad and mom, Gene and Ron, who I love, came looking for Mark. Well, when they got to the door, I ran, I got out of there, went in my bedroom, hid under the fucking bed. And we were little kids. I think I was 9, he was like 12. Well, my dad knew right away that Billy fucked up. So, ultimately, I had to explain what happened to Big Ron. Ron, his dad, was a big motherfucker, which is why Mark was such a fat ass. But, so we had to go out in the backyard, and let Mark out of the fucking garage. But here's the thing. Meanwhile, throughout the day, I'm yelling at him through the garage. You hungry? You thirsty? Sorry, can't open the fucking door, motherfucker. You'll get out. I mean, I was going to leave him in there. Whatever. My dream is you don't have to hear this shit. But I'm going to tell you it. Let's talk about now. Oh man, it's 34 minutes. My dreamers, next video. I can't do this to you. It would have been good though, for the newbies. Love.